Hey, what up? It's Boyd, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you exactly how to change any belief from a disempowering belief into an empowering belief. And if you clicked on this video, most likely you have some sort of a belief about yourself, about the world, about something that you would like to change, that you would like to shift. And I'm here to tell you today that in this video, I'm going to share with you how you can do this in an instant. This video, I'm gonna share with you what really is a belief, okay? What does it build up out of? And then how can we shift it? How can we destroy a limiting belief and transfer it into an empowering belief so that you can increase your performance, increase your level of success in life? Okay, because a belief, guys, is simply a feeling of certainty about what something is like, right? So you could have a belief that you're not good enough, right? Or you could have a belief that you're an introvert or something. Or I could have a belief right now that I'm getting hot as hell because of this fireplace. But a belief, it is simply something that is all up in your head, right? And a nice analogy that I usually like to give is you probably have sometimes seen an elephant in, a circus, right? And this is the worst elephant that you've ever seen in your life.
Nice.
But these elephants in a circus, they usually have like a little rope or a little chain around their foot, right? And when I used to go to the circus, I used to think to myself, this elephant, why doesn't he just rip this little rope off? Because he can easily do so and, do whatever he wants. It's an animal, he's wild of nature, right? And the reason he doesn't is because he has a belief inside his head that he cannot do it, right? And he is more than physically capable of doing it, but he just cannot because in between his ears, in between his giant ears, he has a belief that he cannot because from being a very young and little elephant, this elephant has been conditioned to believe that he cannot rip this, right? He cannot rip this off. And, he's grown massively and now he is able to do it, but he's still running with that old belief system, right? And that's what I'm going to show you here today, how you can shift that for yourself, because most likely you're doing that somewhere in your life, at least in some areas of your life. You're running with old belief systems that are not serving you, that are simply conditioned in you out of your childhood, out of some experiences, okay? So what really is a belief? A belief is simply like, look, I've got a table, right? And I would want to destroy this table. Say I really don't like this table. How would I go about it? Well, this table is really supported by table legs, right? It's supported by legs. It's 4 legs here, right? So if I were to destroy this table, what I would do is I would pretty much destroy the legs, right? Just like if you've ever watched some movie where there's some giant, monster or whatever, and in the movie, I can remember I used to watch this as a kid, and usually the giant monsters, and normal people would try to destroy them. How they would usually do it is they would just cut off the legs, right? They would just try to cut it off at the legs. And then they would be able to actually tackle a big monster like this, right? If you look at a belief, it's very similar to having a table, right? A belief is simply the tabletop. It's a belief and it's structured by what we call references, okay? And the references, they resemble the table legs, right? So a belief is just supported by references, okay? So say you have a belief that you are an introvert, right? And this is the tabletop and the references are, I used to be shy in high school, I get rejected when I try to be extroverted, etc., right? So just a couple of these references. But if you really dig into it, it might not actually be true. But what you gotta understand is that a belief, so I'm still explaining to you what is a belief. A belief is really a person who is generalizing, distorting, and deleting a whole bunch of information, and from those 3 actions, you are then creating a belief, right? So if a private client comes to me with a certain belief about themselves, right? That they're not successful or whatever, let's go with they're an introvert, right? Then they're deleting a lot of information where they are actually extroverted, right? And let me be clear, you can actually be introverted versus extroverted, but I can also share with you that I've seen a lot of people who call themselves an introvert, but they're actually not introverted. They are actually extroverted. It's just masked because of their insecurities, right? Because if you're insecure, you're not able to be extroverted because you feel like it's dangerous, right? But actually they're a natural extrovert, right? So introverted and extroverted people often, confuse that with, being insecure and shy, etc. Right? It's a different thing. Anyway, so let's go with shy, right? Someone is deleting a lot of information where, a lot of events where they are actually not shy, right? So I will tell you that every single person is sometimes very confident. Every person is sometimes very extroverted, outgoing, charismatic. And what I usually give is the example of the guy who lives with his parents, who's 30 years old, whatever, and he's very shy and introverted. But, when he goes to parties, when he's even with family, these types of things. But this guy, when he puts on the gaming headset and he's like playing whatever game, I don't game myself so I couldn't tell you, but whatever game he's playing, this guy is talking shit to other people online and telling everybody to f off. He's got jokes for days and he's talking, he's charismatic, he's funny, he's being himself, because in this environment he is able to. In this environment he can. However, he's deleting that information and that event, and he's just looking at other events that are reinforcing this belief. Okay, so this is how a belief is made up, right? It's actually not true. And that's why usually what I ask a client is like, okay, so you're shy, are you always shy? And a person might say yes initially, but then really, and then they might go, well, I'm not shy when I'm gaming. And there you have an opening into changing your identity, right? Changing your beliefs about yourself. And that's so powerful, because once you do that, you're able to do it in different areas of your life. So exercise for you right now at home is like the belief that you're coming into this video wanting to change. Think to yourself like, okay, is this something that I always have, or is it just some of the time, right? And in those some of the time instances, what kind of environments make that happen, right? And what kind of feelings make that happen? And from there you can, basically deteriorate and detach that belief more and more and more, and you can just break it up. And you can actually, from a belief like, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, I'm a piece of shit, oh, I'm introverted or shy, whatever, you can break it up into pieces and really analyze this and find out that it's actually a bunch of bullshit that's all in your head. Because once you have a belief, you are going to focus only on information that confirms that belief, right? Your RAS, which is called your reticular activating system. Google that if you don't know about it, but basically what it means is that part of your brain which decides what to focus on, okay? And it's just focusing on things that are important to you, right? And things that are congruent to you, okay? So if you have a belief, then that will become your reality, because simply all the opportunities, everything in your life, you will notice only that is congruent to your beliefs and to who you think you are, right? So I'll give you an amazing example, and you can Google this if you want to. There's an experiment that's been done, and it's called the luck experiment, okay? And this experiment, basically what they do is they, follow people around. I can't tell you the exact specifics of it, but this is what it comes down to. They follow people around who believe they are lucky, and they follow people around who believe they're not lucky, they're unlucky, right? And it's crazy what the results are, because basically what happens is they put like $100 on the floor in the supermarket, right? And the people who believe that they are unlucky, like 90% of the time, they don't see the $100 bill and they don't pick it up, right? But the people who believe they're lucky almost every time see the bill and pick it up. And this is just exactly showing how your beliefs create your reality, right? And this is why mindset and why your psychology is such a massive key when you're trying to grow your business. Because this luck experiment, if you translate it into business, if you believe that you're a successful entrepreneur, if you're now at 6 figures and you want to get to 7 figures, which is what I help a lot of people do, or from 7 to 8, you know what I mean? If you have identified yourself, if you have the beliefs about yourself that you're a 6-figure entrepreneur, you're not going to see the opportunities, you're not going to see the deals, you're not going to be able to close the deals that'll get you to 7 figures, right? Or get the right contacts or whatever, these types of things, because you are not worth that, you are not that, right? That's why I always say, instead of thinking about your goals, think from your goals, think from being the person that already achieved it, because then you're actually going to be doing the thing and you're just gonna automatically attract it, right? Just because you're living out of that identity, living out of that belief system, and generating those thoughts, and therefore those feelings, and therefore those actions, and performing those actions in a way that is actually gonna yield the result, right? So that is just so important, like massive superpowers if you really hone this skill in. Okay, so it's very clear now what a belief is, how it affects you, then how you change it, right? So as I said, first of all, you can break apart the belief so you can actually see on a logical level and get an understanding like, hey, this is BS. Hey, this is just something I picked up out of my childhood and it's just not serving me anymore. And only doing that, only creating awareness towards it and awareness to the fact that it's bullshit will just subconsciously, create just so much pain to that belief that, you don't even want to run it, and create an understanding that you don't want to use it anymore, right? Because that's belief systems are, you can just have belief systems. Oh, this is what I need right now, but turn that on. This is my belief system that I want, turn it on, because it's all moldable and shapeable, right? Let me give you a great analogy. I've mentioned this before in my videos. Say that you have a concussion today, okay? And you wake up in the hospital, having lost all of your memories, okay? And the doctor comes up to you and he has like a little pen and paper, smaller than this. And he tells you, hey, listen, boys, you're a billionaire. You have a team of thousands of people. You make impact around the world. This is kind of how you dress, your clothes. This is like how you carry yourself. This is your family life, etc. He gives you this identity. He gives you all of these beliefs about yourself, right? And say that before this accident, you were like someone who is just having a 9-to-5, not too much freedom, etc. Can you imagine if you had lost all of your other memories, how much different you would walk out of that hospital and just disregard all of the, external circumstances that would not be in place, but just imagine how much different a person could be if their whole belief system would change. Just imagine the difference that could make for you. Just imagine if you lost all your memories and that's what you got. Are you gonna create that life? For sure you are, right? This is the reason, guys, that a lottery winner, because they don't have the right beliefs about themselves, because they don't think they're worth it, because they don't have that identity for themselves, that a lottery winner can win everything, so can have all the chances rigged for them, but then loses everything just because they are not that type of person, right? They don't have those beliefs about themselves, so they will create the reality, right? Just like the luck experiment. But on the other side, a guy like Donald Trump, who more than has that identity and those beliefs about himself, that he can lose everything, so have all the odds rigged against him, right? Lose everything versus gain everything, like that. And he can, within a very short, relatively short amount of time, regain all his millions and billions just because he has that identity, he has that certainty, right? He has those beliefs about who he is as a person, okay? And about what he is here to create. So that's the power of this, right? Building on top of how you can shift that for yourself and how you can change a belief. As I said, you can create the awareness for yourself. And once you have an understanding never goes away. That's the beauty of it, right? In coaching, when we make distinctions, when I make distinctions with my private clients about the way that they're approaching life, right? About the place that they're coming from in life, about the identity that they're coming from, the person that they're being in that moment. Once you change that understanding, once you get that understanding and then shift it, you don't really go away from it. Like getting an understanding is like finding out that Santa Claus is not real, okay? Because, once you understand that, you're not gonna go back and revert to the old reality simply because you know it's stupid, right? You know that it's not true, right? An understanding never goes away. That's the beauty of it. So that's a very powerful way already. But from there, building on top of that, you really can wire a belief in if you use different tactics like hypnosis and NLP things that can really drill this into your subconscious brain. That's the key, because you cannot try to make a change on a conscious level when the belief is playing at a subconscious level, right? So hypnosis is really a great way of accessing the subconscious and making changes there, right? Because in a state of hypnosis, you're very suggestible and you can actually make changes in the subconscious mind, in beliefs like that, right? It really works. And this is what I do with my private clients. that, I hypnotize them basically to make these changes and change these associations they have in their subconscious, right? But there's multiple ways to do this, okay? You can also do this yourself. It's just gonna take a lot of repetition, to really get in the state. But, you can hypnotize yourself, you can basically relax yourself, meditate, and get into this, basically this theta or alpha brainwave, or try to, and try to make these changes, try to make these visualizations. However, it's much more effective and obviously faster with someone working with you, as is anything. Okay, but building up on top of that, one thing that is really great to really do to change a belief system, to change a belief about yourself, for example, which are really the most powerful beliefs to change, because then you're working on an identity level, is doing things that would go against that belief, right, that you currently have. So, give you an example. Say that you're shy, introverted, so to say, right? As I said, first you want to break up this table by slashing the legs and really deleting and annihilating those reference experiences that are building, up this tabletop, right? And you got to think about your belief system as like a weighing scale. Your brain is basically weighing out like, okay, how much references do I have to back this belief up, and how much references do I have to back this belief up, right? So say I'm shy versus I'm confident, right? How much references do I have, right? So you want to annihilate those references that back up that you're shy, reframe them, or work with a coach to do so, and then you want to look at, the beliefs that, are promoting empowering beliefs, so I'm confident, etc., and build up those references, right? So one thing that you could do, that I always tell people, is if you're shy and introverted and all these types of things, you can go out there and do something that only an extroverted and confident person can do. So basically, just go out there and just scream walking through a shopping mall, or maybe not a shopping mall, maybe better outside, right? You don't want to get into any trouble. And just do some affirmations while you are walking there in between a whole bunch of people. And it will feel awkward as at first, but you'll feel better afterwards, right? You're just doing something that you cannot do if you're actually really shy and introverted, right? So you're just pushing yourself to do that, and then giving yourself those references to back that up, okay? You want to create the certainty and belief in yourself first by focusing on things where you do have that. So build these references up, and that'll already increase this belief in yourself. So as I said, if you're shy and blah, 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 you want to look at you, for example, in a gaming setting, if you're like the example that I gave in the beginning of the video, and then focus on those things and building up the belief like, okay, I am that, just in these situations, and then take that over into different situations where at this moment you're lacking it, and then, do some things that are very much outside your comfort zone currently, or outside the comfort zone of that belief system, and then change it, right? And you can build on top of that, right? There's more things that you can do, but these are a few quick key things that you can do to really start changing this, right? So getting an understanding of it being BS and not serving you, and then just letting go of it, that already is massive. Then, because understandings don't go away, it's like saying bye to Santa Claus, right? He's not gonna come back. You're not all of a sudden gonna believe like, oh, maybe he is real, right? It just doesn't work like that, right? So that's one. Then, as I said, you can, suggest to yourself things, but this is the reason that, affirmations, etc., they don't really work, because, if you have a solid table, and now I'm just gonna be saying to it different things, like if you have a belief system, you're just gonna be saying to yourself something that's not that, your brain is just gonna go BS, right? Because as I said, it's a weighing scale of the references that back it up. So you gotta slash the legs first, and do some really inner work on that to then, be able to build a new table and be able to put on those belief systems. But you cannot just say that to yourself if you have the old table supported with old legs of this belief system that you don't want, right? That's why it doesn't really work for you, because you're trying to build it on top of a for lack of better words, foundation, okay? So we got to fix that first, and then you can build on top of that, right? And then the affirmations and these type of things, they can build on top of that, and they can be a great add-on to it, right? So really look at it that way. Build a new table, build new references, look at new references, increase them, and every opportunity you get, increase those references for yourself, right? And then if you go out and you get experiences of like, okay, here I wasn't confident or whatever, then you can just take the lessons from it, but then delete it from your mind, okay? Delete the negative things, where most people usually just keep the negative and delete all the positive, right? So use that delete, distort, and generalize in your favor instead of as a bad thing, okay? So make sure you apply that. Drop a comment down below if this video helped you. Drop a comment down below if you need any help with your beliefs, etc. I'll reply to every single one. Definitely like the video once again if you got any value, and subscribe if you want more content like this that'll actually really make a measurable difference for you. No BS, no hype up, motivational bullshit, but just actual tangible shit in your psychology that'll really make a change here, which will result into a huge change there. Just like I told you with the luck experiment, it's insane the results I get with my private clients, with my coaching clients, etc. Once you change up here, everything changes, okay? If you're interested in that, you can also hit the link down in the description. And with that being said, change your beliefs, change yourself, change your identity, change how you look at yourself, and you will change your life. I will see you in the next one.